sorry, I had to stop and restart. I think I was saying that many companies are certainly working on coronavirus and trying to come up with something, and everybody wants to be first. The same is true for vaccines. Companies are working very, very hard to come up with a vaccine, and this is happening around the world, and every country wants to be first in this race. What's most important, though, is not who's first, but that we get that treatment, and we get it soon, and we get that vaccine, and we get it soon. So we're all crossing our fingers. All right, well, I hope that was an enjoyable article and an enjoyable activity, and we will do a different one in the coming days, next week. I will switch gears one more time and continue our learning and lesson about writing. So last time we talked about organizing for writing. I showed you a couple of planners, and I showed you this one, and I showed you this one, and I told you that these are readily available online, dozens and dozens of them. You can also create your own. We said that the importance of an organizer is that we collect our ideas, our thoughts, and we get them in an order that we know before we start writing will help our writing to make sense to the reader. It will make sure that we're including everything we need to include, that we don't just at the last minute think, oh, I meant to say this or I meant to say that, and we've already written our page or 2 or 3 pages. So organizing for writing, planning for writing is as important as planning for lots of things that we do, okay? And for me personally, writing it down on this organizer or this map, if you will help keep me on track and get me to the end point that I want to achieve. Once you have your topic, sometimes that's an assigned topic, obviously. Sometimes it's a topic that you're writing about because you need to write about it. Say you're writing, an article for a community newspaper, or you're writing something for your child's teacher, whatever it might be, you have a purpose in mind for your writing, and that becomes your topic. And you have planned the key points that you want to make sure that you cover. We said 3 is a very common number of points that we might want to cover in a typical informational piece of writing or an essay, but we may need more. But we've decided on those, and we've written some notes to make sure that we stay on track. So we're really about ready to begin writing after we've filled in that planner. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to construct our introduction. So I want to talk a little bit about writing introductions today, or introductory paragraphs. Okay? If we're talking about an essay, a short article, then it is going to be 1 paragraph. Certainly when you are writing in other genres, you're writing a fiction story or something, your introduction may be pages and pages long, but that's a different type of writing altogether. The introductory paragraph that we write at the beginning of an article or essay is that opportunity that we have as the writer to hook our reader. We use the word hook thinking of the fish hook. When we throw out the fishing line, we put bait on the hook, and hopefully the fish decides to grab it. We want to grab our reader's attention with a hook, okay? This is the writer's opportunity to connect with their reader right off the bat. And this can be done in lots of creative ways. I'm going to mention about 4 ways that you might hook your reader. The first way that we often hook our reader is that we ask a question. We call this kind of question a rhetorical question. R-H-E-T-O-R-I-C-A-L. A rhetorical question is a question that we don't expect an answer to because we aren't having an actual conversation with our reader. They're somewhere else. So the idea of a rhetorical question is that we expect or hope that our reader will think about it. So oftentimes we can use a rhetorical question to kick off our introductory paragraph. Have you ever wondered why we get yellow pollen in March and April in Georgia? Okay. We want our reader to take a minute and go, I have wondered that before. Or, that's a good question. So a rhetorical question helps to hook the reader. Another way that we might kick off our writing is to offer a quote. Offering a quote is a wonderful way to engage our reader. Depending on our topic, we can research quotes, famous quotes, not necessarily famous quotes, but a quote to make the reader want to stick with us. As a teacher, sometimes I wrote articles or emails, things like that, maybe something that I wanted parents to read. And I know that there was a quote that I used a number of times called learning is a journey, comma, not a race. Now, in this very moment, I cannot remember who said that quote. It would be important to say who gets credit for that quote. So if you use a quote, you will want to say, in the words of so-and-so, and then write the quote. Or a very famous quote by so-and-so is this. And that sort of sets the tone. It helps to introduce your topic. It helps to hook the reader. So doing quick research to find a quote that works for your topic is a great way to launch your piece of writing. It's another word I like to use thinking about the space shuttle, launching it, getting it going in a way that's interesting. Yet another way that we might launch a piece of writing is with an antidote. An antidote is a really short kind of story, okay? A story that captures captures the topic that we're about to, go into, but kind of gets the reader. Everybody gets the reader interested. Everybody likes a story, especially one that is short and gives us something to think about. So you might write a little anecdote. It could even be a personal anecdote. It could be something, about your life, your family, your job. If you're in a business setting or something, your anecdote may have something to do with, in the meeting yesterday, da-da-da-da-da happened. It made me wonder about this. Move into your topic. It can be short and it can be very simple, but an anecdote is one way to start that introductory paragraph. And the last way I'm going to mention for you to hook your reader might be with a fact or a myth. Okay. When we use a fact, we might start by saying, it is a well-known fact that such and such, okay? Or people everywhere know that this particular thing that we want to say has happened or exists, okay? So people everywhere know what COVID-19 is, okay? Expressing a fact and letting that be the hook. Or a myth. Myth being something that is widespread, but not true. It is a myth that penicillin cures COVID-19. It's not true, right? So we might want to start with a myth as a way of hooking our reader. So it really doesn't matter what the topic is. Each of these ideas can be used to get you started with your introductory paragraphs when you are writing. Each of these can be used as a good way to hook your reader and to help that reader to say, okay, I want to know more. Now, once we have used one of these, then we want to develop the rest of that introductory paragraph. And we want to be really, really sure that we are concise. We say what we need to say without saying too much. And that we very specifically introduce the topic that we are going to discuss in our essay or our article. So once we have done this and hooked our reader, we want to say then that here you will find the ideas that I have about this particular topic. The topic is very specifically this, and I'm going to explain my reasonings or my thinking or my ideas. So going back to offering a quote. I can talk about being a teacher. That's the easiest one for me, so that's what I'll do. So I might have started my introductory paragraph with a very important quote in my life is the quote, "Learning is a journey, not a race." This quote was written by so-and-so. As a teacher for many years, I often think about what is best for our children. I want to explore that for you in the following article. I want to talk about how my experience has helped me to develop a strong opinion or a strong thought or strong thoughts about what the learning journey should look like for today's children. Okay, that was kind of off the top of my head, but that's kind of how I might introduce my topic. I would let them know that this is something that I've thought about, that I've actually lived it for a long time as a teacher. and that I have developed thoughts and feelings and opinions, and that I intend to share those in the following paragraphs. And then I'm good. I'm ready to write. I'm ready to go from there and develop then my primary points, the 3, 2, 4 primary points that I want to make to support this topic that I've just named. So when we move to our next session, we will look at how to go from there with those topics. I hope that this is helpful for you. I hope that even if you are writing something very informal, that you'll think word choice. You'll think about how to organize and develop so that your reader can follow each step of your writing all the way through. We will pick up with this in the next section. Bye. Oh, I forgot. I have a couple of jokes. I have to find them because, I can't tell them without reading them. Okay, the first joke is, one guy said to the other, "You look really funny wearing that belt." The other guy said, "I'd look even funnier if I didn't wear it." Here's the next one. A gal was talking to her friend. "I was born in California." The friend said, "Oh, really? What part?" And the gal responded, "Well, all of me." Think about that one. Miss you guys.